So when I heard about how hard it is to get an abortion for women in Texas, it made me think about the things here in China. When I got pregnant at the age of 39, I went to the hospital to confirm that I got pregnant. So the doctor got the result. She didn't even look at me. She just looked at the result. She's like, these numbers are so high. You're pregnant. It's so obvious. So are you going to keep it? And I was like, oh my God, you don't sound excited at all. Where's congratulations? Yeah, and why you sound a little bit upset? Wait a second, are you the father? A joke aside, it's probably a common practice for them to ask ladies who are pregnant whether you're going to keep the baby or not. And also, I want to give a little bit of a context. The doctors here, they work long shifts and they treat so many patients. Every 5 minutes, they're going to treat a new patient. There's a long line out there. This is normally what goes on in a public hospital. So doctors don't have so much of like a glamorous income or lifestyle as doctors probably in the States. So it's just a normal job, yeah? And of course, they might get a little bit annoyed or frustrated by how much they have to work, and the pay is not necessarily great. So I'm not criticizing doctors, but it does affect their passion, their enthusiasm, because they are treating patients, and sometimes patients rely on doctors for some moral support because you're in a very vulnerable position, and the doctor in their position definitely is the authority that you seek for advice and sometimes a little bit of comfort. Okay, so with that said, let's talk about how common it is or how easy it is to get an abortion here. So of course, I said I'm going to keep the baby. I don't know what's going to go next if I say, yes, I'm going to get rid of the baby. I don't know whether I need to sign something. I need to get a family member to sign something. But when I went back 2 years later for a checkup, I was outside and there was a girl. She was pregnant and she wanted to get an abortion. And the doctor's like, we cannot give you an abortion unless your husband signed the paper as well. So you can definitely have the choice to keep your baby or, not. But I think the procedure is you probably need to get somebody, a family member, to sign the papers. Also, years and years ago, so I'm 42, when I was probably 27, I started working in a city. This city is a college town. Actually, it's Wuhan. It's famous for something else, but Wuhan actually is the biggest college town in the world. There are just, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are over 10 million college students living in that town. So when I was living there, my apartment was very close to a few colleges and universities, and I was really shocked to see how many private clinics there. And outside the clinics, you can see very clearly those abortion ads. Like, it's so easy to get abortion. And I don't even know whether these clinics have the expertise to do that, but it's certainly cheap. If I'm not mistaken, around $1,500, you can get abortion. So, when I was working for this company, I had like a new colleague. She was about to graduate college and then she got the job there. One day she came to work. Her face was just, she didn't look great. Like, she looked very dull, sick. And I was like, are you okay? She's like, I just had an abortion. And I, what? And you came back to work? And she's like, yeah, and this is my second abortion. Okay, I've done it before. Me and my boyfriend, we didn't use protection. I was shocked. I was really shocked. And then, a year later, I started dating a guy. everything was going well. A couple months later, I found out that he had another girlfriend back home in his hometown. And then he confessed to me about everything. And he was like, it's very hard for him to break up with this girl because this girl had already had 3 abortions with him. I was shocked again. And so I talked about this with my girlfriends at the time. They were all around my age, 27, 28. I was like, why? How come a young girl in her early 20s had done 3 abortions? And my girlfriends pretty chill. They're like, why are you so shocked? This is so common. Probably a lot of girls have done that. And I'm like, have you done that? One of them said that she hasn't done that, but a couple of them said that they have. So I think this definitely has a lot to do with sex education, how to have a protective sex. But it is definitely not a very difficult thing to do an abortion. So that got me into thinking that maybe, there should be, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it, but that there's definitely more than just, abortion. There should be more awareness about this matter. And to make it easy, definitely has its pros and cons. It definitely has its pros and cons. It's very destructive to a girl's body. I felt very bad for the girl who had done 3 abortions for this guy that I was dating. Of course, I left this situation, but I really had a lot of compassion for her at such a young age. Okay, she barely had started working, She barely had started working. She had done this 3 times. It might affect her fertility further along. And also the mental distress that she has to go through because of all of this, it's definitely very, very destructive to a girl physically and mentally as well. But what other choices did she have at the moment? She hasn't finished college. She definitely didn't have the financial power or didn't have the tools to become a mom. And maybe she didn't have the support. Also, maybe she's afraid of the judgment that she's going to have to face, at such a young age. So it's just a very sad situation for her. And I actually, I hoped she got the support she needed. And definitely I felt this guy that was double dating us definitely was an asshole for doing all of this. So yeah, I think it's a very tough situation. On the one hand, you wanted to uplift the woman in this situation, but like whether you have the kid or whether you don't have the kid, it's a lot of responsibility for yourself, and also there's a lot of post-abortion trauma. I have like a friend, her sister did an abortion early on in her marriage, and then she was saying that she normally had like nightmares that the baby came back, to question her, to confront her why you had abortion. That's just very hard to hear, very hard to listen to. It's very hard to repair that kind of a trauma. And also within my family, my mom had done one before she had me, after having 2 kids, and she was like, she wasn't ready, or she didn't want to have another one. And then she got pregnant, so she had to do one. And years later, she had me. She had already decided not to have a baby, but then she got pregnant with me. She was happy. And then my sister done one. She just got married. She wasn't ready for a baby financially, mostly. That's what she thought. And she did one without telling my mom. My mom was pretty upset that, Of course, she'll be upset. And then she said something that I think a lot of people agree with, that you will be never ready, you know. So, yeah, I'm not sure how. I just don't think there's a perfect solution when it comes to this, you know. So, anyways, let me know your thoughts on this matter, and what's going on in terms of this in your area. So, thank you for watching. See you next time.